What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over one of the most broken things in all of Destiny's history, and it is the toaster, the Jotun. No, I'm not joking. I'm being very serious. There's a glitch with this gun, or bug, whatever you want to call it, that is by far probably the most broken thing in Destiny's history, and you guys will see. And I found out about this by someone on Twitter DMing me, and apparently there are a lot of people receiving the same DMs. But apparently this glitch has been around since January, and it still hasn't been fixed or that mainstream. I personally didn't learn about it until recently, but I've also heard a lot of other people that have been also figuring out about it recently by these Twitter DMs. So today I want to show off what this glitch is and explain it, and also talk about a few pretty important things about this glitch. So let's go ahead and show off what it is. So normally this weapon does roughly this damage on the ogre, which is roughly like a 6 of the health bar. But the bug with this weapon is if you damage yourself at the exact same time you damage the enemy, so pretty much shoot yourself right next to him, it does a lot more damage, and based on how much damage you do to yourself is how much more damage this weapon does. As you see, it left the ogre now at almost a 6 health, so it did almost 5 times more damage than just shooting it normal. And to compare how much damage it's actually doing on this ogre, the Izanagi almost takes it down to 1/3 left. A full mag of Wendigo leaves the ogre at roughly like a 6, maybe a 7th health. Now with one shot of Jotun, it does more than everything I just mentioned, and if you hit them in the right area and damage yourself enough, it can one-shot the ogre. We're talking 50% more damage per shot than Izanagi's burden with ×4 and masterwork. And since you're so close to the ogre when you do this test, it's hard to see what you're actually doing in terms of damage. So what I did was just use other weapons and get the ogre down to roughly the same amount of health that we saw earlier in the clip. And just using that and adding up all these sniper shots, I can kind of estimate how much damage it's doing. And doing that, roughly same health, give or take a little bit, we're doing 33,000 damage in one single shot of Jotun, which is a special weapon. Now testing the rate of fire of the weapon, shooting off 5 shots, which is the total magazine of the weapon. That is on take roughly 5.6 seconds, which means the DPS of this bug is 29,500. Now, if you guys remember the full 1-2 punch combo, it was roughly 26,000. And like that combo, it works with debuffs. So if you use Melting Point, Tractor, or anything like that, you get the full 50% buff. But unlike the 1-2 punch combo, you can use buffs to increase your damage unlike melee damage, so you can get that extra 35% of well or weapons of light and shadow keep on top of that debuff. So this bug literally does more damage than the full 1-2 punch combo, plus you can add a buff on top of it. And you don't have to be on a very specific class, you can do it on any class. Yes, you do give up your exotic slot, but that's not that big of a deal, considering it's almost 3 times higher DPS than anything else in the game currently. So obviously this is absurd, silly, broken, whatever word you wanted to use to describe it. It's stupid, right? So very clearly Bungie needs to fix this weapon, but the issue is we have a raid coming out in roughly 2 weeks, and I'm assuming there's no way they'll be able to fix it in that amount of time unless they already knew about it. So more than likely, their best case scenario is just disabling the weapon for the launch of Shadowkeep, and I'm hoping that is what happens. But let's say that doesn't happen. There are some downsides of this bug. You have to be close to the enemy, so you can't do it on all boss encounters and raids. If you look back at previous raids and Last Wish, you could more or less do it in every single encounter. Then if you look at something like Crown, you can only do it in like the pre-boss fight, maybe in the boss fight in some certain spots, but probably not. There's no guarantee that it will even be usable in the new raid. Maybe there are no close boss fights, and maybe it won't even be useful. But the dilemma is, I know from people I've talked to that this is getting around on Twitter. So there are definitely a lot of people and teams that are going for worlds first in the new raid that know about it. And there's a few ways to handle it. One, you just don't tell anyone about it and you don't use it yourself. So that way there's like no harm done, you know, hopefully no one else does it and you don't do it yourself. But more than likely, if there's a lot of teams that know about it, which I'm pretty sure there are, just given the fact that 4 or 5 of the members of our team all got the same Twitter message, I'm assuming at least other people have seen it or gotten the same Twitter message. So in that scenario, if there's even one team that, you know, knows about it and decides to use it, that's a clear advantage over any other team going for worlds first and pretty unfair. So unfortunately, I don't think that would work. There's another thing you could do where you could keep it secret then actually use it, but I think that's very scummy and definitely not something I'd ever want to do. So I think the best case scenario is, since at least our team and possibly multiple other teams know about this glitch, and it's a huge unfair advantage in the case that it is useful for even one fight in the new raid, I think it's fair to make it public and let everyone know about it, then also message Bungie, and hopefully the weapon gets disabled for the world's first raid. which they have disabled weapons in the past, so they're definitely capable of doing that. Or in the case that's not fixed, at least everyone will know about it, and that way if it is usable in at least one fight or multiple fights in the raid, at least it's fair play and everyone has the knowledge and the ability to decide if they want to use it for themselves or not. So that's why I'm making this video now. Hopefully, best case scenario, it's disabled or fixed. If not, at least everyone knows about it and it's kind of fair play. It's still up to them if they want to do it or not. And remember, there's a good chance that it's not going to be useful in the new raid, because with contest on, you'll be maybe 15 to 20 light under. You might not be able to get close to the boss, and if you can, you're still making a lot of risk, you know, getting close to the boss. Yeah, you're going to be in a well or a bubble, but if a boss stomps, it's going to kill you more than likely when you're like 15, 20 light under, because contest will be on for the first 24 hours. So it's not even like a safe bet that, you know, if you do this, this will guarantee your worlds first, you know. You still have to know the encounter. You still have to do all the mechanics of the encounter. You have to get to the damage phase. Then, you know, it's not necessarily free when you're under light. You could still die trying to pull this off, right? But in that one case where it is useful for, you know, a counter or multiple encounters, I think it's fair that it's public knowledge and everyone knows about it. And that's why we came to the decision to make this video. Anyways, no matter what happens in the world's first race, obviously long term this needs to be changed. Like, this is pretty silly. Even in the chance that it is disabled for the raid, you know, this will be the meta until it's fixed, no matter what happens. I mean, it's literally better than the 1-2 punch build, and it's super easy to use. You know, you can do it on any character. Like, there's literally no downside to this. Anyways, I hope you guys understand why I made this video and the reasons why it needed to be made. Definitely have fun with this weapon and abuse it, because hopefully it gets fixed soon. And we've already messaged multiple community managers showing this off and explaining it to them. You guys don't have to go like on a crazy Twitter witch hunt adding, you know, multiple Bungie devs or whatever, because we're already DMing them and stuff like that, so they definitely know about it. Definitely shoot them a message if you want, but just don't spam them, you know. Be respectful about it. Anyways, let me know what you think about this whole situation. Was it the right call to let everyone know about it, and hopefully, you know, it's either fixed, or worst case scenario, at least we're all on the same playing field and we all have the same information available to us. Anyways, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.